All right, folks, welcome to Hard Hat Conversations. I'm your host, Richard, out here in beautiful Cleveland, Ohio. We have a special guest here. He has a show called Dominate the Books. It's a sporting bet show. So if you want to make some money and learn how to bet and stuff, look up Dominate the Books. Today is August the 2nd, 2025. The other day, folks, I did a podcast called Racism Day. And if you follow me, and please don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button. If you follow me, you'll see that I talked about racism, because that seems like that's a lot of stuff going on today. And what I want to do is a part 2 show called Racism Day Part 2. And we want to really dive into this and talk about the truth, because this is Hard Hat. We tell the truth here. We're not sugarcoating. We're not trying to please anybody. We're trying to learn as well. So furthermore, I'm going to let my guest introduce himself.
So my name's Keith. I was on the podcast before, probably about 8 months ago, somewhere around there. And like Richard said, I have a YouTube channel too. I haven't posted on it in a while. It's called Dominate the Books, but I'll probably be in with football season right around the corner. I might get it back cranking back up here soon, so we'll see either way.
All right, folks. Here we go. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, the first thing I want to bring up on Racism Day Part 2 is race hustlers. Let's talk about that, folks. Everybody can get into this. I don't care what race you are. I want everybody in this. It's not a black thing. It's not a white thing. Not a Chinese thing, etc., etc. So are there race hustlers? And what's the difference between a race hustler and a real activist? That's what we're going to try to define today. And hopefully you folks can make some comments and help educate us as we share on this same path to understanding why we do certain things in this life. All right, race hustlers. Keith, are there race hustlers out there in the world, or is it just a made-up term?
I 1,000% believe there's race hustlers.
And why do you think that?
Well, when I look at groups like Black Lives Matter, when I look at people like Jesse Jackson, Reverend Al Sharpton, Attorney Ben Crump, those are people, and that's an organization. Although it started off like more or less like as a grassroots thing, to me they're the type of people that show up when there's any type of tragedy that's racial, and they're not necessarily looking to the benefit of the person or people that's involved in that situation. They're more looking to see how they can capitalize off of that situation, put more money in their pockets.
So you think that they're not looking at the best interests of black folks, so that's who mainly their clients are, poor black people.
Exactly.
You think they're not really looking out to help and better their lives? They're just looking to make some money.
Let's take Black Lives Matter, for example. I don't know anybody that lives anywhere in the country that can tell any of us one thing that they did in a community, like putting up a community center or a library, a basketball court,
right?
Anything. When you do the research, it said it changed a couple policies as far as like maybe getting a chokehold banned, something with criminal code or something like that, which is cool.
Or they did their review board with the police for with the with the Citizens Review Board or whatever they call it. They create stuff like that.
Yeah, but this is a group that made millions of dollars, primarily off of the back of George Floyd dying.
Right.
And you can't find anywhere where they gave his family $1 of that money.
Well, I think to be fair, I think his family did. His brother and them, I think they did get some money
from Black Lives Matter.
Not Black Lives Matter, correct?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
they sued the city.
They got money from them.
Yeah, they got money from the city of Minneapolis.
So actually, you saying Black Lives Matter probably got money from them?
Exactly. They used that his death and they capitalized off of it.
Okay.
Those donations went through the roof.
Okay.
Now, Could they control people just wanting to donate because of what happened? No, but they could have used that money for more important things that affected the people instead of like the lady that was the head of Black Lives Matter, Patrice Colliers, I think her name was. She has a $6 million mansion in California.
Right.
She paid her brother $1.6 million to be head of security.
Okay.
Why do you need to pay a security service $1.6 million? And then like other, I guess like high-ranking officials within the group, they were paid millions of dollars. She gave money to a trans organization. And then nothing against the trans people and nothing like that. But what does that have to do specifically with the stuff that was going on at the time, or what's really affecting
the black
people
community?
in the community?
Yeah. Good point.
Then,
go ahead.
Okay, and then I was going to say, and it's the same thing with, this to say, Attorney Ben Crump. Anytime there's a high-profile case that's has something to do with like around the racial lines, just like with the guy right now who got pulled over for not having his lights on because it was raining or whatever.
Right.
Cops punched him in the face. That was too much. But if that didn't show up on television, you think Ben Crump would have just showed up to that? You know what I mean? It's like he knows he's going to show up to this because it's going to shine a light on it, in which he can capitalize off of that situation.
Okay. So that's part of your definition of a race hustler. Mm-hmm. Now, what is a definition of a real activist, in your opinion?
In my opinion, a real activist is someone that really cares about the people.
They're not rich, are they?
They're not rich, but even if they were rich, they would take that money and use it in a more beneficial way when it comes to things that the community needs. A race activist is a person that calls out real discrimination,
right?
But he also tells black people the truth and holds them accountable for their own actions.
I agree.
You know what I mean? A activist is somebody who said, hey, you know, yeah, this might be going on, but at the same time, we got to stop killing each other. We got to stop standing on these corners selling drugs. We got to start getting back to the nuclear family. We got to start raising our kids the right way and focus on education. Those are the type of messages that
a real activist.
Yeah.
Why do you think that race hustlers won't say that?
Because there's no money in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more profit in showing up to something that's high profile, telling black people that you're victims, you ain't gonna be nothing other than a victim. You know, these white people or whoever that hate y'all, they want to hold y'all back. Give me some money.
Wow. Do you believe that the race hustlers, now this is the race hustlers, do you believe that they had good intentions at the beginning, or they always were race hustlers?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Reverend Jesse Jackson was marching along with Martin Luther King. You know what I mean? Like I said, Black Lives Matter, that started off as a grassroots organization. I think around the time when Trayvon Martin got killed. Yeah. So yeah, it starts off that way, but you know, like they say, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Then when you add money into the situation.
Right. And I do believe that. I agree with you on that point. I agree with you that they start off with good intentions. And I'm going to say this with the politicians as well. I think some of them start off with good intentions, saying that because they've seen stuff, that they're going to say when they get in office, they're going to try to help make some changes. But then once they get in office, they see all that money and they see the culture, which we're going to get into later on, culture, folks.
Right.
That they see the culture of the Senate and the House and politicians, that they either join or they get thrown out.
Right.
So would you rather join this culture and make lots of money and live comfortable, or would you say, no, I'm not going to do it, it's wrong, and we're not really doing enough for the people?
Well, if you're standing on what you stand on and your morals don't align with that, then you would say no. It's just like, to me, like these actors and actresses that's complaining about, you know, the sexual stuff that was going on in Hollywood. Like having to sit on the casting couch and have to do certain acts just so they can get a part in the movie.
Right.
You got a choice to say, well, you know what, this was my dream. I wanted to be an actor or an actress, but now that you're telling me this is my only way in, I got to do X, Y, and Z, then I'm about to go do something else.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So you're saying that they do have a choice.
Absolutely.
They have a choice. Everybody has a choice. So nobody's, I don't want to say, nobody's forcing you to do anything in life when you're an adult. So you do have a choice to make. So if you choose this road or that road, is on you. There's nobody to blame.
Yes.
All right, folks. So hopefully,
Do you agree with that?
I do. I agree with it wholeheartedly.
Okay.
I think that the race hustlers are always going to be there, and it's sad because with the race hustlers, they get all the fame, they get all the airtime, and the real activists they frown on because the real activists don't get the airtime because they say they're crazy because they're making real change. And people who are empowered, like you said, don't want real change.
Right.
They want you to stay in this same flow so they can make money. Because think about this, and I'm really focusing on the black community. I'm going to get to the white community later. But think about this black community. Every major city, I want my brothers and sisters to listen to, everybody my brothers and sisters, but this is the black community. Every black city has black mayors. When I say this is nothing new, I'm saying black mayors, black councilmen. We've been running the show for a long time, and this product and this the way that you're running the city is not working. So how come it's hard for black folks to say we need to do something different? How come you can't do that? Because the politicians that get in, all they do is take over the same script as the former politician, and he may tweak one or two things, but it doesn't make a change because that takes a lot of work. Mm-hmm. And it takes a lot of hard truth. That's why this is Hard Hat Conversation. We telling the truth. You have to tell what's really going on in the black community. I said this is Racism Day Part 2. In Racism Day Part 1, I said we got to call out all these women having all these babies by all these Tom, Dick, and Harry. We have to call that out. I'm sorry they're your sister, your mother, your cousin, your aunt. They are destroying the kids. The projects are nothing but another form of prisons.
Yep.
Open prisons. If you look at them, they got gates around them. They got rules around them. They feed you. They clothe you. You go to those free places to get clothing. You get a free check. You get free housing. Doesn't a prison get free housing? They get free clothes, free 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
This is, I'm laughing because this is sad. And we don't even realize what they doing to us, and yet we keep falling into it.
And to go back what you were saying about the politicians, as far as the black politicians, I mean, just look at East Cleveland, for example. Predominantly black politicians out there, predominantly black police force. Mm-hmm. And you drive, I don't even like driving through there. It's like driving through Beirut.
Yeah, it look like drop the bomb on it.
Yeah, the roads are terrible, the crime is out of control, houses abandoned. People on drugs just like everywhere standing on the corners. It's a nightmare. But the question is, why, when we get in control of stuff like that, everything just goes to SHIT? Like, why is that?
And this is the hard truth fact. This is not, look, I'm black as I don't know what. He's black. Why do you think we want to sit up here and talk about this stuff? You know, there's other stuff to talk about. I could be talking about sports. I could be talking about having fun and all that. But this is an epidemic that we're having. Our people are suffering every day. It's the same stuff, robberies, killing. And I don't care about the white community. They got killers and stuff like that. But not on this type of level.
And you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. It's because like when you have these type of conversations with black people, that's the first thing they say is like, the white people kill each other like that, and they don't talk about Puerto Rican on Puerto Rican crime and stuff like that. There's a misconception. It's like when black people, we have these talks amongst each other that, people like us are like coons or Uncle Toms and all
right.
that goofy stuff. But the thing is, the reason why people like to say stuff is because we love black people. Like you said, we black. So because we care, you want to tell your. This is like your kids. You're not gonna sugarcoat nothing with your kids.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're trying to share some knowledge. Yeah, you telling the
You tell them
truth.
the truth. You know what I mean? Because you want them to change whatever behavior they're exhibiting that's leading them down the wrong path.
And they can do that. We have so many tools. We're on this right now talking to you guys and girls. Come on, folks. If the tools are right here, you got so many avenues. You just don't have Channel 5, Channel 3, and Channel 8 where you just have to listen to the one way. Now you can listen to people like us and a whole bunch of other creators out there sharing the same type of information.
I listen to more people on YouTube than I do the regular news.
Yeah, than the regular
I don't
TV.
even watch TV.
Yeah.
I don't even watch it.
So there's no excuses anymore. We have to change our behavior. And like I said before in my other podcast, we have to start with culture. We're getting in culture more. And people are like, what is culture? We're going to dive into that a little more. To me, culture, just a little bit, culture is the same stuff a group of people do all the time. It's nothing to do with racism. Mm-mm. Just because I like fried chicken a lot, that doesn't mean it's racist. It's just something I prefer more
Everybody
than eating a hamburger or eating a pierogi.
Right.
Come on.
It's pretty much kind of like how we was talking off camera. It kind of goes back to almost like a tribal thing. You know, if you grow up in a certain area around a certain group of people, their customs are going to be different because that's based on the things that they believe in, based on the things that maybe like their ancestors practiced. And the tradition just gets carried on from one generation to the next.
To another, yeah.
And that's pretty much all it is.
That's all it is, folks. So don't be ashamed that you like watermelon. You like to eat pasta every day or pierogies or what's that, tacos and beans and rice.
I mean, it's funny, but it ain't nothing to be.
It's nothing to be real. It's just a whole bunch of you just connect and y'all like eating that.
Exactly.
I guarantee you, if you put me in a room with nothing but white people, there's a whole bunch of white people that like fried chicken. Guarantee you. They may not like it on my level, but they like it. And so what? You like to eat more of that. What's the big deal? Some people like to go to the gym more than others. You know, some people like to run, more than others.
I remember I used to know somebody that he used to say he wouldn't eat fried chicken in front of white people.
Yeah, see? And that's that
stereotype.
Like, why not? Because they unshamed us and scared us like we can't do these things because it's taboo.
And how does that stuff just be jokes, though, man? And people just take jokes so personal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they take jokes personal.
Yeah,
and let's be honest, to me, this is my opinion. This is all that conversation. Please like and subscribe and comment. If you don't like what you hear, put a thumbs down and make a comment. If you like what you hear, make a comment, put the thumbs up. You know how the game go. Come on, folks. We all got an opinion. Don't be afraid. There's no right or wrong. We're just trying to come to the minds. That's all. That other point you were saying, what was that other point? That last point.
About jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think people with the jokes, it's funny, but sometimes, and I'm going to be honest, like I said, it's hard hat conversation. We tell the truth. Some people use it as a tool for malice as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They want to, because they want to make you feel that you stupid for eating fried chicken all the time, or tacos, or spaghetti and meatballs, or pierogies. But
that goes back to culture, though.
Yeah, it's the culture. It's just culture.
This is what we do. It doesn't mean that we, as black people, we don't like spaghetti.
I love spaghetti.
Taco. I love
tacos, and I love pierogies.
I don't like pierogies.
Well, I don't love them, but they're okay. As long as they put mashed potatoes in them, I like it, and chicken.
One thing I can say though about culture, on the flip side of that, what we consider culture nowadays, as far as the violence, the single parent households, I like rap music, but listening to some of it that's just so degenerate, man, that it's so low vibrational that it puts you in a certain mindset that you want to just go out and just do something stupid.
Right.
That part of the culture, man, I don't think that's really represent like black people as a whole. I think that's just like a subculture within our culture, which every race of people has. You know what I mean?
I'm glad you said that because since and here's this is another hard truth. Write this down, folks. This is hard hat conversation. This is another hard truth. Like I said, the truth can be it can hurt, but it can help as well. A lot of the companies, Pepsi, McDonald's. I just saw a window commercial, folks. They call Pella Windows. And I'm not focusing on this stuff every day, folks. Don't get me. I'm not sitting at home looking for race stuff and all that. I'm at work every day. I'm just a regular six-pack Joe. I'm at work more than I'm at home. So don't say, oh, you just sitting at home looking for race. No, I'm not a race hustler. No, I'm not a race hustler. I just noticed some things like this Pella Windows. And I'm not picking on them, but they doing what they do to try to make money. They're a high-class window company, not like one of these regular window nations and stuff. They real pricey on their windows. And you know what they doing now, Keith?
What's that?
They made a commercial. I saw a little black girl dancing around a window, and they got the rap music on. So what they do is every time a black person on, it has to be rap music. They can't play classical music. They can't play other types of music, rock or whatever they call it today. It always got to be a hard beat and rap. And don't get me wrong, like you said, I love rap, but certain raps is not good. And all black people don't want to hear rap every day. I'm sorry. I know y'all want to put it, it's part of our culture. I get that. But there's other things that black people like, you know, so...
So I got a question. Why do you think they would make a commercial like that? Do you think that they feel like based on what they see that particular advertisement set up that way would be a way to connect more with black people? Or do you think they're doing it because they're, I don't know.
Racist?
Yeah, use that word.
Yeah. It's not racist.
But why you think they do it though?
To make money. It's just say, okay, well, we did, our marketing firm did a lot of studies, and if you play a lot of boom, 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 boom rap music, it'll draw the attention more of black people, and we need to tap into that money source.
Yeah, I get that, but why you think where you think that idea come from?
It's hard to say, really. It could be they hired a black person, he could have did it.
True.
You know, they
True.
probably went in and recruited
That's true too.
a black marketing firm. I don't know. What do you think?
Or it could be because basically that's what they see. You know what I mean? Like anytime, that's what's promoted as black culture. You know what I mean? So if that's what's being promoted as black culture, then they say, hey,
we're gonna use it. Yeah,
we're gonna spend some money and we're gonna use to advertise. We want black people to buy our windows. Maybe that's what we should do.
And that's what they're doing, and it's amazing. You know, I'm older, and Pella. You ask a black person, they don't know what Pella Windows is.
I seen the commercial before.
Yeah, but most people don't know Pella. You know, Pella is very expensive. You know, so it's just an observation I made, and just like when the and it's part of advertising. That's why this is called Racism Day Part 2. We're focusing on so-called, is it racism or is it just culture and just things that you just like to do?
You know what? I'm glad you said this. You said you made an observation. Yesterday, me and my wife, we were rolling through Little Italy. It's a place here in Cleveland.
If you're in the Cleveland area, you
know what it is. But yeah, it's a place. It's like Italian restaurants and shops, bakeries, this type of thing. So as we rolling through, I'm like, dang, why black people why we don't got something like this, like a little Africa or something like this? And she didn't say anything. And I was like, because we'd be out here fighting, and you know what I mean? We'd be out here shooting, like all type of stuff. Why is that? Like, why is it that other groups of people can get together and be civilized? They outside eat, and not to say all of us is like that. Of course not. But anytime we get together in that type of setting, we just wait. Everybody's kind of like on edge, waiting to see what's about to jump off. You know what I mean?
You know why it is like that? And I'm going to jump into it. Some people think, let me go to my notes, folks. You know I like to go to my notes. Some people call it systemic racism. It's set up that way. And systemic racism, do you believe in systemic racism?
Absolutely not. I don't even know what it is. But while you going through your notes,
I got to
here,
go to my phone, folks. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Go ahead, Keith.
just that example that I just gave about Little Italy. What would systemic racism have to do with that? We're just basically talking about a group of people that all look alike, that share the same culture, that have pretty much the same upbringing. Why can't we get together like that in that type of setting and build our own little community without there being any type of problems? You know what I mean? Like, what would systemic racism have to do with that?
Well, it doesn't have anything to do with that. That's personal content of your character. As Dr. Martin Luther King said, it's the content of your character, not your color.
Right.
And that goes with everybody. But as I said on my podcast before, we live in this bubble that we have to name everything: black, white, blue, red, this. So we have to put name on everything we do in order to identify our problems. So every time a problem come up, we always got to name it. Just like when a new virus come out, they got to give it a name, you know.
But us putting that systemic racism name on that particular issue, are we just giving that a name to give it a name, or is it just making an excuse for their behavior?
No, I'm gonna say it's part of that excuse. It is, but I'm gonna give you a couple examples why other people think it is systemic racism.
Okay.
I'm gonna share something with you all this is part of white privilege, folks. This is what blacks are arguing about: white privilege. I disagree. I disagree with some of it, but I can understand why some blacks think that it's white privilege. For instance, I'm gonna share a story with you. In 2000, it's around 2000. I applied at this company. I don't want to give out the name because they sued the company, and we all got a little payment from it. And they had us take a test, folks. They had to take a test for entry level and supervisory positions. So we all took the test. You know how you feel like you passed. It's just a basic reading, math, you know, you can count to 10, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So, haven't heard nothing from them. I said, I must have failed the test. They sent a letter saying you failed the test. I said, I don't know how I failed that test. It was simple. So, you think nothing of it. You move on. Then a year later, got a letter in the mail. Do you want to be part of this class action lawsuit? Mm-hmm. I'm like, what? And I said, well, this company said I failed the test or whatever. Come to find out, folks, that the company, it's a big company too, said that the company was discriminating against black applicants, the ones that applied for entry level and supervisory level. So I'm like, what? So is that part of white privilege where they did that? Is that racism? What is that? What do you call that?
The main word that you said to me, what I would call it, is discrimination.
Okay.
Yeah. And if people of a certain race or color, whatever, if they are like in those type of positions where they can discriminate on who gets the job and who doesn't, then that's more of an individual that's doing that, or individuals.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a system that's set up that way, because we have. So what was the outcome? You said it was a class action lawsuit.
Yeah.
So they got found out. They got held accountable for doing that.
Right.
Whereas opposed to maybe back in the day when it was allowed to happen, then maybe we can look at that and say maybe that was like some systemic issues and stuff like that back then. But nowadays there's laws in place that if that type of thing happens, then people will get held accountable like they did. So that's more like discrimination, but that's everybody discriminates.
So I'm glad you said that.
And I'm not justifying it.
I understand.
Yeah, I'm not justifying.
Back in the old days, you're right. They didn't have the law set up where there was so much racism was, and I call it. It was. Do you believe it was systemic back then? Before the civil rights marching and all that.
I still don't even know what that even means, honestly. Like
systemic white privilege. People saying this where whites get like if you could be qualified for the same job, got all the qualifications, same thing, or even a little more extra degree or something, they would pick the white person over you no matter what because of your skin color.
So I understand what people are saying when they say that word. I understand what they're getting to, but I really still don't know exactly what it means. Like I think it was worse back then, but it was just the way that the country was. You know what I mean? It was horrible.
And they changed the laws. They had amendments and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I don't know if I could even call that systemic racism. It was just kind of just was what it was. It's like coming out of slavery and all that type of stuff. Like, here's a question: would we have even had those issues like once slavery was over with? And they promised 40 acres of mule, and then they changed.
I'm glad you said that.
And they said we ain't giving y'all nothing. If we would have just said, okay, we don't want nothing, we free. All right, we just about to go over here and do our own thing. If we weren't trying to integrate, and we decided to let's separate and do our own thing, kind of like what those people doing in Arkansas when they trying to go up in the hills and
have their own community.
Yeah, like would we would have had even had those problems.
I'm glad you said the 40 acres and a mule. A lot of people believe systemic racism started then when they never gave us the 40 acres and a mule because our black culture couldn't grow because they didn't have the finances and resources. Why black folks couldn't get this job and couldn't get loans and stuff like that to build anything, the whites was able to get the loans and more of them prospered while we was held back. And now you see a reverse of it a little bit now that I see a lot of the whites are getting upset because, I don't know, is that racism? They're getting upset. Is it reverse racism? Because they're getting mad because they starting to see a lot of blacks going to school, and they getting some of the jobs. So let's say a black person do all the work, go to school, do everything right, and he get this position. A lot of the whites will say, well, he got that because of affirmative action and stuff like that. DEI and all that stuff. So how can you win? What would you say to that black person that say, I don't even know what DEI is. I just went and followed the rules and the laws and did what I supposed to do. I don't even believe in none of that stuff. So, but here I am in this position, and I'm usually the only one out of 10 people. I say there's 10 that same 10 positions, there's 10 of them. And let's be honest, it's all that conversation. We got to tell the truth. Hit that like button, subscribe, comment, We got to tell the truth. If it's 10 jobs open and one black and then the rest of them white, the black person going to feel a little intimidated. Like, did he get this job because they threw him in here because of DEI? Or did he get thrown in here because he has the degrees and the experience and everything else?
Based on his own merit.
Yeah.
See, just like I understand why affirmative action and DEI and all that stuff was put in place. This kind of is based on what we was talking about, what happened back in the 50s.
I think they were trying to use it as a
30s.
catch-up tool.
Yeah.
Somewhat like that.
So I understand. But is it still kind of discrimination in a way? Yeah. Because if I'm given the job...
So there's a difference between discrimination and racism?
Absolutely.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if I'm given the job simply on the strength of what I look like and not because of what my qualifications are,
right?
Then that ain't cool. Just like it's not cool if it's the other way around too.
I think another form of systemic racism that people can bring up, and I think I experienced it a little bit, is like when they start school busing. I went to all white school, And I noticed that the all-white school on the west side was totally different. This is in the city of Cleveland, Ohio. They had seemed like they had better football equipment. Their facilities was cleaner. It seemed like they had more stuff. Is that systemic racism, or is it that they just kept it up, or what? What do you think?
Well, just kind of like the last point you was making, you said when we came out of slavery, we was promised our 40 acres and a mule, and we didn't get it. So, and we weren't able to get certain loans and, this type of thing. But my question to that would be, well, how did we get things like Tulsa, Oklahoma with Black Wall Street?
I
know
agree.
what I mean?
Yes.
So if we were able to...
Rosewood.
Yeah, Rosewood, yeah. Tulsa, Oklahoma, Rosewood, Black Wall Street. How were we able to, build those things up?
During the worst time.
Exactly.
When racism was really rampant.
You saying it for me. So if we were able to do that then...
How come we can't do it now?
Yeah, how come we haven't been doing it? So...
What do you think that is? You think part of it's the race hustlers, the politicians, the leaders, the rap music? What is it?
I think it's some of all that.
Yeah,
I think it's some of all that because...
Because I just named a few things that's on top of that's have some type of grip on the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Rap music, race hustlers. What else? Just not caring about wanting families out of wedlock, children, no fathers in the home, most of them in jail.
Right.
Stuff like that, welfare system.
Mm-hmm.
All those affect the black culture very hard than any other culture.
Agreed.
So it's at an epidemic proportion. So I think we need to address all of those. The churches as well, too, because they become a problem now. Because they used to be the vanguard, and now they just part of with the race hustle. All they do is want you to come in and get their money and tell you everything gonna be all right and move on.
What are they actually doing for the
What are they
community?
actually doing for the community?
So again, it's just like, if we circle back, is it systemic racism, or is it the fact that, is it personal accountability? The fact that our schools look the way they look, our neighborhoods look the way that they look.
Right.
Ain't nobody telling us to throw hot Cheeto bags and Wild Irish Rose bottles on the ground.
Correct.
You know what I
Food
mean?
out on the ground.
Yeah.
Kids out late at night, not being in before it get dark. Nobody's stopping that.
We could get together and, go to the bar and
Have a
do
big
certain
party.
things, and you know what I mean? Like, why we, if the textbooks and everything messed up in the school, why we can't all get together and be
Yeah.
like, yo, these,
Have a fundraiser. Yeah. Why can't we just do that? Have a walkathon in
Yeah.
the neighborhood.
Why not?
Up Glenville, up Superior, up Huff.
Right.
Why can't we just organize those things?
so it sounds like you're starting to agree with me.
I agree with some of it. I do with some of it. Some of it.
Okay.
I agree with some of it. I agree. We can do those things. There's no excuse.
Right.
I'm not trying to think of one. I'm just throwing it out what they in their minds that these race hustlers and these politicians and these Hollywood and all that telling you being held down, but yet how did they make it? Instead of telling you that you being held down, they don't want to share how they made it because they don't want you to get where they are. So who's really doing the systemic racism? We're doing it to ourselves
Yeah.
because we're not spreading the knowledge. We're not spreading the love, nothing.
Why you think that is?
Self-hatred. I think it's deep-rooted that we've been abused for so long without having anything, told we wasn't nothing. We're the lowest form of the earth with the N-word. I think it's a form of PTSD. What's that? PTSD.
Yeah.
I think it's a form of it. We don't want to talk about mental illness. We don't want to talk about none of that stuff that's going on in our community. We just want to have a good time, drink, and sugarcoat it. So I think we could solve a lot of our own problems, but we have to tell a hard truth. So
I agree.
So until we come to that point, we're going to stay where we are. We're going to keep listening to the race hustlers. We're going to still keep listening to that old crazy rap music. We're still going to kill each other out in the streets. We're still not going to teach each other nothing. And we're just going to keep having that safe helter. But we need some real good leaders. And not just good leaders, just starting in the home.
Right.
Because whatever's working right now, doing right now is not working. So everybody needs to restructure everything right now because the black family has no excuse not to be doing what it should be doing. So we need to restructure. Whatever they teaching you in school or at these help centers, it's not working. You just can't hand out coats and food and feed people on Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that and then forget about everything else. You have to restructure the way we teaching folks. And that's the hard part. How do we do it? We need some real activists, like you said earlier.
Yes.
We need the real activists, not the race hustlers. We need activists.
The whole, teach a man to fish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we need that. Yeah.
That type stuff. Like,
You know?
as long as people keep getting free handouts, like you said before, every country, we got to have like a system in place for people that fall on hard times.
Yeah, every country should have a welfare system.
Absolutely.
Just in case.
Absolutely.
Yeah, every country.
But those systems can't be used as a crutch. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
we
You can't
can't-
stay there forever.
Yeah, they're not forever.
They're
yeah.
not forever. You
But
can't
now
use
we got it like it's forever here, Everybody just getting on, just jump on it. Oh, don't worry about it. You'll get food stamps, you'll get
Section
money.
8 and
Section
WIC
8,
and
don't
all
worry
that stuff.
about
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
They'll
yeah.
take care. We have to stop that mindset, so.
Agree. All right, go to your notes.
I think that's all I got today on Racism Day Part 2. We have plenty more to come because we're going to stay on this subject a little bit. And then we're also going to talk about other things too, folks. The main things that's going on in the world. We still got them wars going on in Israel and Hamas. A lot of money, a lot of death. We still got the Ukraine war going on. A lot of money, a lot of death. And it's not just in the United States. It's all over the place. We got the tariffs going on. We need jobs. The housing is shortage of housing. Prices are skyrocketing. Rent, everything. All those things are going on, and we have to talk about these things to try to find solutions. So,
Can I mention one more thing?
sure.
So somebody sent me a video, and it was a guy going into I don't know, like some type of county building, right? He was filing a claim of like discrimination.
Mm-hmm.
So what this dude does, he goes around to like different auctions in different counties,
Right.
and he buys properties. So when he went to a county that he never had been before,
Mm-hmm.
and he was asked to provide identification and fill out a form.
Okay.
So he said, well, I've never had to do that anywhere else. Why do I have to do that here? And basically, to make a long story short, he filed a claim saying that I was racist.
Wow.
What do you think about that?
He just trying to get what he can get, man. I'm speechless, actually. What do you think about it? What was he trying to do?
Well, hustle.
Yeah.
I mean,
I said it already.
unless other people there didn't have to provide identification
Mm-hmm.
or fill out a registration form,
Mm-hmm.
then they just ask him. That's different. But in there, and I can show you the article.
All right.
His name is Dr. Malcolm Tanner. I believe he's maybe in the Columbus, Ohio area. Excuse me if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
But unless he can show, and he didn't say that like, well, they didn't ask anybody else. They just asked me and my group. He didn't say that. He just said, I never had to do that in any of these other counties. So why do I have to do it here?
Wow. All right, folks.
Something to think about.
Something to think about. We're going to leave that right there. But as I said before, it's Hard Hat Conversations. We're here about telling the truth. I'd like to thank my special guest, Keith, was coming on for Racism Day Part 2. I think if a lot of us do certain things like this, maybe you can't get on the video and do stuff like this. Maybe you can just write about it and talk about it amongst people that you meet.
Yeah.
Everybody can do something.
That's how you start to make real change.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
That's activism, right?
Yeah, that's
real
activism. And guess what, folks? It don't cost no money.
Exactly.
You don't need a big building. You don't need all this stuff. So I'd like to thank everybody that took the time for listening, and hope you like what you hear. And if you don't like, I always say, make a comment and help me learn something, because I don't know everything. I'm just one man out here on the mic, getting friends on, trying to find out what's going on, and we all going to the same journey. So we just take different paths and different roads.
Absolutely.
Keith, you want to say something at the end?
I appreciate you having me on your program.
All right. Good enough.
All right, dog.
Hey, this is Hard Hat Conversations. You all have a good evening.
Peace.